Did you know that the average golfer has about 35 putts per round? According to the USGA, the average male golfer is a 14.2 handicap. And according to the Grint, the average golfer has about 35 putts per round, while higher handicappers have close to 40 putts per round. Scratch golfers are about 31.5 putts per round, according to several studies. So, needless to say, putting is a big part of the game, and we have to make sure that we are spending our time in practice, dialing in both our routine and stroke so we can stop wasting shots on the greens. Becoming clutch and consistent on the greens is one of the easiest ways to lower your handicap and play more consistently. Now, what's great is that there are tons of different training aids that can help you do just that. The problem is that most golfers don't buy any or use them regularly enough to have any sort of consistency. As someone that's been a golf writer since 2017, I've tested out nearly every single training aid out there, from full swing all the way to putting. So stick around so you can learn the 5 putting aids that will absolutely help you putt better, have more consistency, and dial in your putting stroke. Plus, make sure to stick around to the end so you can learn the step-by-step process to become a clutch, consistent putter. If you're new to the channel, thanks so much for being here. My name is Michael Leonard. I'm a +2 handicap and the creator of Wicked Smart Golf. Now, the first putting aid that I absolutely love is the Pro Path Putting Mirror by Back to Basics Golf. In fact, this one is endorsed by Cam Smith, who is one of the most clutch putters in professional golf. Now, mirrors are great because they're going to help your eyes get in the right position. The problem is that most amateur golfers have their eyes way too over the ball, when in reality, you want your eyes directly over it or slightly underneath it. Sean Foley was Tiger Woods' coach and said this about getting your eyes in the right position in a Golf Digest article. Instead of positioning your eyes directly over the ball, do what most pros do and set them several inches to the inside. This is especially important over these short putts where you can't afford to be offline by more than an inch or so. Try setting it up this way and see if it doesn't get you sinking more must-make putts. So when you're on the putting green, experiment with different eye positions and see how it impacts your start line and overall stroke. While putting mirrors aren't anything new, the Pro Path Putting Mirror had to make this list because it's so much bigger than most of the putting mirrors, and it also helps you learn your shoulder alignment and get your putting stroke on the right line. One of the biggest mistakes I've made in my own game is getting my shoulders open, which leads to missing a lot of putts left. But when I use this mirror, I quickly can check my shoulder alignment to make sure it's getting started at the right line. So if your shoulders get closed, they get open, or they're square, it's easy to tell with this awesome putting mirror. Plus, it comes in a really nice case, it's easy to carry with you, and you can use it indoors or outdoors. The second putting aid I highly recommend checking out is the Putting Tutor by Dave Fells. Now, Dave Fells is kind of a legend in the game. He's also the author of the Short Game Bible, and he actually helped create this device with Phil Mickelson. Phil has talked about this extensively over the years, and what I like about this putting aid is that it's small, it's easy to use, and it helps get your start line correct. Because if your start line's off, it really doesn't matter how well you read the putt. So you have to make sure we're getting the ball started on the right line. And what's great about this small putting aid is that you can actually kind of work your way up to more advanced levels. Basically, it's just a board, and then you have different marbles that you're trying to putt through, and you can use it for all different length of putts. And again, as you get more skilled, you can start using it at the more advanced settings to make sure your start line is dialed, and that way, hopefully, you're going to stop three-putting so often and get the ball started on the proper line. Before getting into the third putting aid that I highly recommend, let me know in the comments, do you practice putting regularly, or is this something that we have a little room to improve? Hit the comments now. The third putting aid that I recommend is the Devil Ball by Putt Out. As the name implies, this putting aid is devilishly hard and requires a perfect putt to hit it well and actually get it rolling like a golf ball. This putting aid comes with 2 balls, has an alignment marker, a travel pouch, and a bunch of online videos to help you use it more effectively. Plus, you can also use it with their other putting devices to make it even more effective. Now, again, this is great because you can carry it with you in your bag. It's the size of a golf ball. You can use it indoors. You can use it outdoors. And again, it's going to make sure you have a perfect stroke to get the ball rolling properly. The fourth putting aid is actually a putting mat, and that is going to be the one from me and my golf. It's called the Breaking Ball Putting Mat. As I talk about a lot on my podcast and with my mental golf coaching students, we want to be practicing our putting at home if we can, because we don't always have the time to always go to the golf course, but we can still learn a lot and actually get a lot of confidence with an indoor mat. But as you probably know, the problem is that you can't practice breaking putts. And like 1 out of 10 putts that you hit during a round is actually a straight putt. But luckily, Me and My Golf solved this problem. And with their putting mat, they have different golf balls that actually are going to break different amounts. So they have 3 balls that are included with their mat. You line them up with the different parts of the mat, and then you can practice right to left or left to right breaking putts. This is unlike any other putting aid I've ever seen and can help you with those putts, because chances are you have one type of putt that just doesn't set up well for you. Maybe it's left to right, maybe it's right to left. However, when you have this putting aid and you actually work with it at home and stay consistent with it, you can practice breaking putts on a flat surface without having to buy any accessories or slopes. That way you can practice those tough ones, so when you get to the course, you're going to have more confidence on those sliders left to right or right to left. The final putting training aid that I highly recommend is called the Skinny Cup from Golf. Now what this does is actually makes the hole smaller. That way you have to hit a perfect putt, and then when you do actually go back to a normal size cup, this thing is going to feel like a bucket. What's really cool about this is that it simply inserts right into the hole and you're ready to go. You don't need to do anything else. You're simply practicing at a smaller target. Now, if you don't want to buy this one or other similar devices that make the hole a little bit smaller, you can always just practice to something smaller than a cup. So maybe a quarter, a dime, something smaller. So that way, again, you're training yourself to have a smaller target. So when you go back to a normal size cup, it hopefully feels bigger and you have a lot more confidence out on the course. If you want even more consistency on the greens, make sure to download my free guide, Clutch Putting. This 13-page guide I created has some of the best putting tips that I've learned over the years to help you stop free putting. I want you guys to be confident and consistent on the green. So make sure to download that by going to wickedsmartgolf.com/clutch or clicking the link down in the description.